All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with the Double Bogey Show, episode 235. 223. Yeah, I just had to remember MJ at the end. We're without Tyler today. Tyler took the podcast off. That's the only PTO hours that he took for the entire day or the entire week was the podcast. So either Tyler's really burnt out of golf, which is he also hasn't played golf in months, or he's sick of us, or he's just on vacation somewhere on the East Coast doing who knows what. There's one truth and two lies in there. I'll leave it up to you guys to guess which one's the truth. But anyway, it's the perfect time to start talking professional golf because my cohort over here, Tyler, is gone, and he doesn't like talking about professional golf unless it's Masters related. TGL. We fired off TGL first event of the entire league, first event of the year. Of 2025, this is the first golf event that we've seen. Or no, was there a tournament last weekend?
I'm not sure.
There was, I believe. Regardless, that's how much hype and kind of build up to the TGL that we've had so far. Is that is the only thing that people are talking about. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it was supposed to start. Well, was it supposed to start at like a year ago? But because the SoFi bubble had collapsed or something, kind of like the Metrodome back in the early 2000s, late 90s when the Metrodome collapsed.
2010.
Was it 2010? Mm-hmm. Was that like the second time it collapsed?
There might have been other issues, but the full blown like ceiling cave in, snow on the field was 2010 because it was right after they went to the NFC Championship game. That's why I remember that.
There were some big California wildfires that started yesterday, was there not?
Yeah.
And
like
so
intense.
But the SoFi bubble is in Florida.
Oh, okay.
I want to say. Now, SoFi Stadium is where the Rams and Chargers play.
Are they playing? Is this stuff in SoFi Stadium or where is this?
It's I believe it's is it the TGL presented by SoFi or the SoFi bubble or SoFi is related, but it made me think it was in California because of the NFL stadium. It's not. It's in Florida.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But that's what's you search r/golf. That's what people are talking about right now. Now, before we kind of take our deep dive into the TGL, the first event, our thoughts, things like that. Other big news in golf right now is Tacomo golf clubs. You've heard of them? I've heard of them. They're affordable. Like from what I've heard, really solid hitting golf clubs that Wesley Bryan is playing. Wesley Bryan's on the tour. His brother George, guys like Steven and Bubby from Good had played Tacomo. There's a lot of big creators that have either are or have played Tacomos. And now you see a golf club company like this giving ownership to these creators and the Wesley Bryan being a tour player and bringing them on to help push the product even more. Now, the golf club space would be the worst space to try and jump into, if you will, with a new brand. To try, you're essentially competing against these massive brands who have been around for so long and have so much history behind them. You can't just pop a golf club company up and expect it to be successful because you have a good price point or you have a couple creators playing your clubs. You look at like Ben Hogan's golf clubs. You would have thought Ben Hogan's golf clubs, because of the type of player that he was, would have stuck around for a lot longer. But they haven't. Nike golf clubs, same thing. Didn't really stick around. It's not the type of space you can just break into. But if you are going to break into it, I think the way that Tacomo is going about it is it's sneaky good. You got guys like Grant Horvat, the Bryan Bros. There's another golf creator that just took ownership in Tacomo. I don't know where who knows how much in percentage they're throwing out to these guys. Obviously there's probably a buy-in factor or a promotional factor or what have you. But I think this is the way to go about it. And it's, as I start to think about it more, my answer to, will these bigger golf club companies start to do this? Probably not. If they were going to give ownership to anyone, it would be Callaway giving ownership to John Rahm, or TaylorMade giving ownership to Tiger, things like that. But when you have the space of YouTube golf becoming so prominent, for a golf club company that is trying to make it, if you will, this is definitely the way to go. So curious to see if other people follow, or who else they're going to hand percentages to. But it's got me intrigued. It's got me intrigued to want to maybe swing Tacomos. I've heard a lot of good things about them. I've never hit them in my life. They're affordable. They sound like they swing really well. And it's kind of shaking up the golf club market a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like when it comes to those creators, those golf creators, a lot of their viewership comes from average to like slightly above average golfers, kind of in that range of like, there's not, you're not going to have professionals. I mean, maybe they tune in, but their big fan base is, average golfers. And I feel like that's a great person to, like Grant Horvat, that being great person to get on the train of Tacomo. And they get a lot of views. I mean, they'll just play rounds and just basically fire away with the cameras. They do challenges and stuff like that, but just base rounds brings in hundreds of thousands of views from them. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think the YouTube golfers are probably they're probably getting more views than some PGA Tour tournaments on the weekends,
for sure.
It's also just like it's the entertainment factor. These guys are doing it for entertainment, along with playing good golf. And some of these PGA Tour events are just good golf, like the entertainment. Obviously, there's a lot of money on the line, and the entertainment isn't put at the forefront. But that's also kind of like what TGL is bringing out in these players, is the entertainment factor, and you're getting to see more personalities, which, I mean, it kind of leads us into like, let's just start talking TGL. First event ever. My first question is, did you watch?
I didn't even know it was going on. So it was not on the right side of the
algorithm.
Yeah. And like seeing the advertisements for it and whatnot. But I looked into it and like watched a full like 8 to 10 minute ESPN recap, how they kind of do that the morning after. And it seemed super cool. Did you watch live?
Yeah, I watched it live. I didn't watch the entire thing. I probably watched like 45 minutes of it, 45 to an hour. Now, I mean, my initial thought with how things went right away is I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a cool sporting event for a Tuesday night when really nothing else in the sports world is on. I mean, you got, UFC guys, you got Dana White Contender Series, which is, it's season by season. Mm-hmm. That's Tuesday nights as well. But to have something, you have NFL football on Thursday, college football, like mid season, you got Friday, Saturdays, Sunday, NFL, Monday, NFL. Tuesday, it's like, okay, well, nothing NBA. Really there. NBA,
but those Tuesday night NBA games are just like whatever. Like, I know a lot of people don't like watching the NBA, but NBA, when they have games on Fridays and Saturday nights, when they do NBA Friday night, like those are way more exciting because the seats fill up. You know?
Exactly.
So, but yeah, absolutely.
I think Tuesday night's it's a great night for it, because then that just leaves us with Wednesday with really, for guys like us who like to watch football and who enjoy watching golf, not so much in the wintertime watching golf, but what are we doing in the wintertime golf related? We're playing in the simulator. Mm-hmm. And it felt like they were mixing it. To me, it felt like an esports game almost mixed with God.
It kind of felt like, have you ever seen what the NFL Pro Bowl is now?
Yeah.
They do like the skills challenges where they're in like a
That's what I'm thinking about.
And they do like the spectacular catch, the QBs trying to throw the ball to like the target, the moving targets and like stuff like that, just because they know players aren't trying in the real game. So they decided to do this.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like that, a little more structure to it, obviously, because they're actually playing around, but it felt like that.
Yeah, the TV viewing experience I thought was solid.
Mm-hmm.
Now there was a lot of gripes, and that would probably be one of mine. Is like, what do we got DJ Khaled on there for?
Yeah, that was funny.
I don't know if he's an investor in TGL or
I wouldn't be surprised
if he's obviously like he's a big face of the golf world because he puts out funny golf content, and then you just have the iconic DJ Khaled, which I'm assuming everyone who's listening to this podcast has heard at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DJ Khaled songs. I mean, he's an iconic personality, and then to mix that into the golf world where you don't really get iconic personalities, I can see the draw there. But there were a lot of people that were like, okay, can we get this guy off the screen finally? And then also there was like a 20-minute intermission in the middle of the event, which I didn't watch the intermission part. I watched on the outsides of it, but apparently from like a viewing experience, bouncing around with interviews and all this kind of stuff, they were like, okay, like this isn't hockey here. We're not having 20-minute intermissions between periods. But like with all of that stuff being said, there's obviously going to be gripes from every which direction. Because it's the first event, people are always going to find something wrong with it. I do think people have given the TGL more of a chance and will continue to give them more of a chance versus just watching one event than they did with Live. Now, I feel like people watch like the first Live event, and they're like, I'm out. Mm-hmm. It's going to take a lot for me to tune back in and watch a Live event. If you had gripes about the TGL, I think it's one of those things where you will give it another shot next week or a couple weeks from now or what have you. Just because, people are saying like this could be, people are saying it's very futuristic in the golf world. Now, I don't think it's definitely not the future of golf. Fuck, it could be the future of golf for us here in the Midwest.
Yeah.
If facilities like this start popping up for the seasonal golfers like us, who only have a simulator from October until April to play in, implementing, things like the green and like the bigger screens and shit like that into golf that we play in the wintertime. That could be the future when it comes to that. However, I think it's more so like it's just going to be a part of the future of golf. Now, whatever professional golf does on an outdoor course down the road, whether it's technology or a different style of viewership, who knows? I'm not the one making those decisions, but I do think this is a really cool event to have, especially in a big downtime of golf. You have your like New Year break in tournaments. You don't have huge tournaments in the wintertime, like December, January, what have you. And I think it could be a good implementation into the sports lineup from Monday through Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I do think we were talking about personalities earlier, and during an actual PGA Tour event, you don't get to see a whole lot of personalities. Sometimes you do. Mm-hmm. Guys like Bryson, you'll see personality from, and I think that's also he contributes to that via his social media and all that. A lot of golfers aren't doing that. Patrick Cantlay is not going to be making YouTube videos trying to hit a hole in one over their house. But it forces personalities out of these golfers, which is a good thing, but it also could be a bad thing because a couple things that I read was that people thought Ricky Fowler was a dud.
Mm-hmm.
Now Ricky, it's the orange Puma suit.
Yeah.
He's like when you think of Ricky Fowler, you think of this like the flamboyant, like really catch your eye type of outfit that, Ricky used to wear back in the day. People thought he was a dud, and you can't really control, like, you're either good on camera with a personality or you're not.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some middle ground in there, but this type of event is really going to show personalities, and you're going to have some really good ones. I think Shane Lowry is a good personality. I also think Ludwig Oberg is going to be a good personality. He's kind of like he's kind of a dog in a sense. He's got, you can tell, like, he's not super like outspoken, but he's got that dog in him. So I'm curious to see when these other teams start playing, who people like and who people don't like in terms of personality.
I was kind of surprised by the overwhelming amount of support for this. When I was reading through like people's reactions to it and whatnot, I saw probably like 80 to 90% good. Like, they thought it was good. It was fresh. It was fun. And like watching those clips, the atmosphere seemed to be really, really like, they were able to interact with the shots, in a way that you can't at just a traditional like tour. Right. You can get you can get more rowdy and whatnot, but
yeah. And everyone who buys a ticket, how many people can fit into the SoFi arena or whatever it's called?
SoFi Arena Golf.
I'm gonna assume maybe like 1,000,
1,500.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And tickets are also pretty pricey. I think tickets are $200 to $300 to probably $1,000.
I would just imagine
they start at about $200
just because of how new it is and how small that venue is.
Yeah. But like what a great opportunity to get like up close and personal with your favorite golfers.
Yeah.
This is the perfect time to do that because, you go to a tour event and like you might cross paths within 30 yards of your favorite golfer, and then you might not see him again. You might only see him one more time, but now it's like you're in stadium seating. They ain't going anywhere and you ain't going anywhere. Mm-hmm. So it's taking like the element of other sports of like sitting down and watching versus walking from hole to hole and trying to find the best spot to stand or sit for what could be maybe only 10 minutes. And then you're on to the next hole trying to follow your favorite golfer.
So the way that, and like the way that I was hoping that this wouldn't go was like kind of how like when the NFL came out with the XFL and the UFL, all that stuff, everyone was so excited. And everybody watched the first inaugural game and we're like, cool, this is fun. And then viewership dropped so bad that the XFL had to merge with whatever, blah, 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 blah. But the main difference I think here is the amount of like accomplished golfers there are in this league compared to like guys trying to get a second chance.
Yeah, it's not your minor leaguers.
No.
It's the XFL is guys who couldn't make it to the NFL.
It's crazy. I'm looking at on TGL's website. You can look at like the players, just like a list of them, and at the top it has all of their stats combined. So the entire league has a total of 231 PGA Tour wins, 33 major wins, and 834 weeks at number one.
Damn.
So like these are accomplished golfers. They're the best of the best, or were at some point. So it's interesting, at least at like face value of who's even just there. And like you said, like it is a chance to just go see your favorite golfers.
For sure. Yeah. And you can you can just look at the schedule and be like, all right, whatever, the Bay fucking bozos or that was another thing. It's like, why are the team names tied to cities? Especially like New York, the Bay. Is there a Boston one?
Boston Common Golf.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why they're tied to cities and like who's making the decision on what city Dude, what if someone did just like a small, like, I don't know, the Fargo firestorms.
Yeah.
Biggest city in North Dakota, 200,000 people. Where I'm not really understanding the team name to city conversation there, but
maybe just in case of expansion in the future.
That's
like
true.
If it is able to, like, if it turns into something crazy, you have like, you host.
Yeah, now
you're at home
and away. Yeah, you have. Yeah, okay. It makes
maybe
sense.
And it also gives them a chance to like sell merch and like marketing and stuff like that a little bit more when you tie in a city.
Sure.
Like, I don't know, if you're from Atlanta and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get an Atlanta Drive shirt.
See, I don't want Atlanta, New York, but I don't want that in a piece of golf merch.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from North Dakota,
Right.
but that's just me. I am one person who will not sway anybody's decision in all this. So, just personal opinion. You had mentioned the XFL, and I had that written down in like my TGL recap, and all I had said was that innovation will keep the TGL from turning into the XFL, but I think too much innovation will also make it do the same thing. If they're too try hard with the whole thing, I don't think it works, because there is still the element there's the element of like simplicity and pleasure in golf that needs to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start swaying a little bit more into like how Live kind of started out with things, I think it probably becomes the next Live. It may become the next XFL. But also listening to the viewership and what they're saying, obviously you can't take everything and implement it, nor would they ever do that. And everyone's going to have something to bitch about, but I think that's definitely going to keep this around longer than new sports leagues have in the past. And Agreed. It's not like they're not reinventing the wheel. It's like, no, this is just simulator golf. This is like way cooler simulator golf.
It's like simulator golf on crack. So like
still on keeps like methamphetamine.
It still keeps it fresh, because it's not something. It's something in the same realm that you're able to do, but it takes it to a completely different level.
Yeah,
with that big screen. I just saw this quote that Wyndham Clark afterwards said, "It's the most fun we've ever had playing golf."
Interesting.
That is a quote pulled directly from him. Ricky Fowler said, "It's really cool walking into an arena and doing what we got to do there." So he's even into it.
And you hope they are they're actually into it versus like, they're not going to say anything negative about it.
Right. You just do want, obviously, for it to keep flowing, as you need them to be into it. You need them to care, but like you said, like not, you got to know what it is. Like,
yeah. And it's also sweet that you can bet on it. So if you're in a state with FanDuel or DraftKings or whatever, you can bet. You can bet money lines. You can bet all that kind of stuff, which I think is cool. It makes it more interesting. Like, imagine a Tuesday night sweat. The Boston Monsters or what the fuck are they called?
I don't even remember now.
Anyways, Boston versus New York, Tuesday night sweat. You throw $100 on the plus 270 underdog and they come out and win the thing.
Yeah. And the degenerate gamblers who like love to bet on sports every single day. Like you said, on Tuesday, there's not a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's going to be there will be a betting atmosphere for this for sure.
Yeah, and I think one thing that could really, really emphasize this league in general is a good storyline. Now, every other league has the storyline. The NBA, it's like LeBron is playing in his 20-something season, 21st season, 22nd season, whatever it is, with his kid who's drafted on the same team. You got Steph Curry, who's close to retirement, trying to win another title. NFL, you have Sam Darnold of the Vikings, who wasn't even probably supposed to win 6 games this year. Mm-hmm. You have storylines like that that keep people, it keeps things intriguing and it keeps people coming back just to see like, how far is Sam Darnold going to take this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And like, can LeBron still put up GOAT status type numbers in his 20 some season? That's the storyline that I hope they can develop in some way. Obviously, you know, it's maybe like it's a Scotty Scheffler type who goes undefeated the entire year in TGL, him and his team. And, you know, he goes, not only is he number one in the world, he's all like his team's also number one in TGL for like 3 years straight. How fucking sweet would that be? Like, who is the team that's going to take down Scotty Scheffler's team in the TGL? You obviously can't like, I mean, unless you're the WWE, you can't really manufacture storylines like that. It just kind of happens.
Yeah.
But having something like that to keep people coming back week after week to see how things unfold. And then now, obviously, Scotty Scheffler's not going to be playing every week.
Right.
But
and maybe those storylines pour into like other parts of the golf season too. Like, or maybe the other parts of the golf season, other tours, like storylines from those pour into this league a little bit. You know?
Yeah. Interesting. I'm gonna watch again this next week. I think I'm gonna watch every team at least once, probably.
Well, you got Tiger next week, so
okay, and I think that's
probably the little bit of a headliner.
Yeah, and I think that's probably by design. Like you never want to put your best foot forward right away. So if you were to put Tiger's team out there week 1, week 2, there's going to be a drop off in ratings for sure.
Yeah.
He brings in eyeballs. He sells pay-per-views, if you will. So week 2 is going to be electric. Who is on his team?
Let me check here. I'm trying to look at he was on the Jupiter Links. Their website. Okay. Tiger, Max Homa. Homa. Yeah.
Okay.
Tom Kim, Kevin Kisner.
Oh my God. That's a fucking great team, dude.
Tom Kim.
You want to talk about personalities we just talked about for 15 minutes?
Yeah.
You got 20-year-old Tom Kim. I think he might be able to drink now. I don't know if he turned 21 yet. 20-year-old Tom Kim, who is throwing fists through lockers after tournaments. You got Max Homa, who is potentially one of the best chirpers on Twitter, on X, whatever you call it. You have Kevin Kisner, who is probably the best face-to-face chirper. And then you have the greatest of all time, Tiger Woods. Ratings for week 2 are going to be insane, I bet.
And they are playing LA, which has here. I don't know if there'd be any storylines there between the. Yeah, they got. I just clicked on their thing and they got all sorts of merch.
Who is on LA's team?
Colin Morikawa, Justin Rose, Sahith
Thigala.
Yep. And Tommy Fleetwood.
Okay. So
not as exciting of a team.
No, good team, but still not as exciting. You're gonna have Kevin Kisner like chirping the shit out of the other team. You're gonna have Max Homa throwing little tiny like dry humor type of jabs at the other. Like it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be electric in week 2. So looking forward to that. A couple notes I have in terms of things that I'd like to see. And I always think of the UFC when I think of stuff like this, because I think the UFC is one of the best at like this type of event. Player bonuses. So you got player of the night, you maybe got shot of the night, or you got hole of the night or something like that. So rewarding players, like when there's money involved, people like tend to ramp things up a little bit, whether it's in their personality or their play. Let's see. My only other one was letting a fan play a hole against a pro, or having a team of 3 fans play against, one of the teams of 3 pros, whatever. Something and people have wanted this for so long. We want a visual of average golfers playing against pro golfers.
Yeah.
That's what we want. Now, simulator golf is a hell of a lot more, it's a hell of a lot more forgiving than real golf. Now, obviously, the TGL is like very enhanced to where you're not just hitting on the same piece of turf for every single shot.
Yeah.
But we want some sort of comparison. I don't know when we're going to get it. And whatever new golf thing pops up, I'm going to keep on pitching the average golfer or the non-professional golfer to play against a PGA Tour pro or their team or whatever it is. Imagine like getting like everyone checks underneath their seat. Like it's like Oprah, right? They're like, all right, everyone checks underneath their seat and one person has a golden ticket. You get to come out and play a hole against Tiger Woods or Kevin Kisner or whoever.
Yeah. I
and if you win $100,000.
Yeah.
And then we'll donate $100,000 to charity as well.
Kind of should just be in the same realm of, I don't know how they pick people to shoot the half court shots at NBA games.
Yeah, exactly.
For 50,000, something like that.
Yep.
Where like anybody in that arena has the chance to. And if you think about it, if you're in an NBA arena that holds, I don't know, 20,000 people of 30, I don't know how much an average one holds, but you're in a place that holds 1,500 people. Your odds are a hell of a lot higher there than anywhere else.
Or dude, you have like a, one person gets picked to hit a 30-foot putt. And if you make it, you win $30,000 or you win X amount of money, whatever that may be.
The intertwining the fans into like actually participating in things would be huge.
Because think about it in a sense of promotion, right? Again, I'm going to go back to Dana White in the UFC because I think they do it best. Power slap. Are you familiar with power slap?
I've seen it.
Power slap in a very large majority of people's eyes is the dumbest sport that has ever been aired on TV.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the views that they're getting online, just across social media platforms, it probably blows every other league out of the water because that's what people want to see on social media. Now, whenever the NBA posts somebody doing the full court putt and making it like that, I don't know if it was at like a North Carolina game or if it was, or no, was it a Miami Heat game? Because LeBron tackled the guy.
Yeah, there's that one.
Something. That shit resurfaces for how long because of just because of the situation.
Yeah.
And how hard the act of whatever they're doing is.
And just, it is exciting to watch the average person come out there and do something cool like that too. Like it adds a whole nother aspect and that keeps the crowd locked in. That could be during the intermission. I don't know what they all did during that, but
yeah, I don't really know either.
So
dude, can you imagine like what the voice of social media would be if an average golfer beat one of these pros in a one hole match?
Yeah.
The odds of that happening are very slim, but the odds are still there. Odds are odds for a reason. Underdogs sometimes win.
Mm-hmm.
That would go crazy viral. And that's the world of golf these days. That's why YouTube golf is taking over because that's where people are consuming their golf content at.
For sure.
A mixture of power slap and esports.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited for week 2.
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
Speaking of simulator golf, we're going to talk a little bit more simulator golf. We're going to talk I have a question that I want to pose in regards to simulator golf. And we're going to talk about that when we get back from the break. Okay, I think I was thinking over the break. I wonder if with the introduction of the TGL, this has to greatly benefit simulator companies, whether you are like a simulator like bar restaurant or a simulator company that is just selling simulator equipment. Especially for people like us who are seasonal golfers, the idea of building a simulator in your garage, in your house, or just going to a simulator in general, it puts you that much closer to doing what these professionals are doing, kind of in the same environment. And then as I started to get thinking a little bit more, we here in the Midwest are seasonal golfers. And then you obviously have people who live down south, Arizona, Florida, California, all of those golf destinations. Those people are year-round golfers. Now, the question I want to pose is, which one would you rather be? Would you rather be a seasonal golfer like us here in the Midwest, or would you rather be a year-round golfer to where the course is there whenever you want to play it? December, July, August, doesn't matter. The course is always there. What do you think?
I think that the year round would be cool, but it's kind of like the whole idea of like when you live in a vacation spot, where do you vacation? So when you have year round golf, do you really even appreciate it as much as you do when it's taken away from you for 3 months? It's a little bit of like a reality check.
Like 5 months.
You're right. Yeah. And that's if we're lucky.
Yeah.
Even. I mean, sometimes the courses, from the snow melting will leave water everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I think the whole reality check of not having golf for a while is kind of nice. And then you're able to reset your mechanics when you need to. Maybe you end the season in a slump, and I feel like when you take time off from golf, you're able to come back and just like forget all the bad habits that you built up.
100%.
So I think that both take and they give, but I would, if I had to choose one, I would choose seasonal golfer.
Yeah. I don't really know which way I am leaning yet, but I have some pros and cons of each that will run through here real quick. So the year-round golfers, obviously you get to play outside at all times. I'm assuming there's probably simulator bars, restaurants, you got Top Golf, stuff like that, that year-round golfers are still going to, but probably not as frequently as guys like us here in Fargo who may go, we may be in the simulator twice a week. We may be in a simulator league. We might just be playing with our buddies. We might have one at home. That's going to be a lot more prominent, obviously, around here. But it's also harder to take, like you said, it's harder to take that mental break from the game when it's always available. And I feel like there's always that sense of burnout that can set in with a year-round golfer. There's even burnout that sets in with seasonal golfers, because for guys like us, when we only have, say, 6 or 7 months to play golf, we play as much as we possibly can. And that leads to burnout, I feel like, pretty quick. Let's say in a 7-month season, 4 months in, you're like, holy shit, I've been playing at least once a week, if not twice a week for the last X amount of months. Like, I need a little bit of a break. To where the year-round golfers, they can kind of they can spread their rounds out throughout the year a little bit better than we can up here in the Midwest. So there's that. But again, like you said, the novelty of traveling somewhere with like a group of buddies, or just traveling somewhere that you can bring your clubs with and possibly play one round. There's that novelty is still there for seasonal golfers, to where, if you live in Arizona and you're traveling to Florida, you're still going to get excited about playing golf in Florida, but I can guarantee you're not going to get as excited about us from Fargo traveling to Florida or Arizona to play a weekend full of golf, I can guarantee you're not going to get as excited as we are. So I feel like the novelty it's not there as much for year-round golfers as it is for us seasonal golfers. So, and then the winter time for us is, as much as it sucks, it's also fucking awesome because, we do other things up here. We hunt, we ice fish, we do stuff like that. We just relax a little bit when we can't be outside. But, and I mean, it allows you to take that mental break that a lot of people need. Now, come February, we're all going to be chomping at the bit. It's like February is probably the most popular time to take a golf trip because we're so close to being able to get outside. Like we're talking a month and a half. Sometimes courses in the past, they've opened in like mid-March. So there's a lot of anticipation for seasonal golfers. You don't really get anticipation as a year-round golfer. And then I think we appreciate the game more because we don't always have access to it throughout the year. With all of that being said, I'm also going to go with a seasonal golfer.
Yeah.
It sounds sweet to be able to golf year round, but I think you lose a lot. You lose a lot of luster in the game that you, as a year round golfer.
Yeah.
To put it simply.
Yeah. I think my immediate response would be like year round golfer, but then you take a step back and you think about all the other things.
Yeah, it's like that golf trip with my buddies. Like we could just go golfing this weekend.
Yeah.
If we lived in Arizona or wherever.
Also, I think simulator golf definitely it like serves a purpose too. Like if I'm living in a year-round golf destination area, I'm not going to the simulator ever. And I think the simulator is like a much more relaxed version of like a round of 18
for sure
during the summer, spring, summer, fall, whatever. It's just a different vibe that you bring, especially with ours that we have here. Like, like the rounds it goes fast.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It goes real fast.
I can play a solo round on our simulator in like 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you play 18 holes and say you have an 8-foot, 12-foot gimme circle. It's like, what club you're going to hit. Your lie doesn't change. It's like I could hit balls for hours and I could play really fast rounds on simulators.
And it is a little bit of like maybe a little bit of an ego boost because it is easier to play in a simulator. So sometimes during the winter when we're playing in the simulator league or just playing rounds in the sim, I'm like, man, like I think I figured out my irons. I think I figured out my driver. Like I'm excited to roll around to golf, the real golf season. And sometimes I do think I figured something out without practicing at all, just playing in the simulator.
Yeah.
And then I go in my first month of golf, I do have it figured out. And then it's broken again. Just, how that goes. But
right. Yeah. The simulator also does provide a false sense of confidence at times. Big time. Not in putting at all. Putting is atrocious on the simulator. But when it comes to other clubs, if you sit there and hit 100 balls with your 7-iron, you're going to be feeling pretty good about your 7-iron because you can see, you can see your club path, you can see your attack angle, you can see all that stuff in real time with a glance over at the TV screen to where you can make that adjustment super easy. So a lot of false sense of confidence. Yeah. But it also, confidence is confidence, whether it's actually there or not. So rolling into the actual season, you roll up to the first tee. It seems like the first round of the year is always like one of the best because you just have no swing thoughts. Yeah. You're not got nothing to think about. And when you do it enough, when you play in the simulator enough and you only get golf for a certain time of the year, things just tend to automatically change from the last round of last year to the first round of the upcoming year. Yeah. Like for the better. Yeah.
You just have a clear head too. Like just the
Yeah.
swing thought's gone. You don't even remember what grip you had at the end of the season, and like, was I slicing or was I whatever? Like, because I go between both. Like I'll snap hook,
Yep.
and then I'll overcorrect and whatever. But you just play loose, and you're just kind of excited just to be out there.
Well, yeah, because what's at the top of your head when it comes to the first round of the year is like how you played in simulator golf, but which typically you probably played better in sim golf than you did the previous year. But also we understand that simulator golf does not fully translate to golfing outside on a real course. So even like if you had some shitty swing thoughts in the simulator, it's gone because you're like, well, it doesn't fully translate. So I can't no use thinking about that because I'm playing outside.
Yeah. I also feel like too, like just as like seasonal golfers, we get the courses. They're always in, like when we're playing on them, most of the time, maybe early they're not, but like we get the courses in like really good condition. Like it's green, it's well taken care of, whatever.
Sure.
But like if you're a year-round golfer, even in California or wherever, like it's gonna brown out. It's not gonna be as green because it does still get cold, but just they don't get 18 inches of snow on top of it.
We see the beauty in every course because what the sim software gives you is the best looking version of that course. So I mean, we could say that we've played, I believe it's called Georgia National Golf Club, which is Augusta. We see that in peak form.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's always in peak form, but we see it while we play it on the simulator.
Yeah. You can go play your local course in the winter. We're going to go play it on these, these professional courses. You can go play on your whatever.
Yeah.
So
no, I think I do think, I mean, we're on the same page. I think being a seasonal golfer is, I mean, it's how we grew up. It's what we're used to. I think it's what we continue to choose. I mean, I think it also would be pretty sweet to be able to golf year round. Like it'd be great to, after work today, take off an hour early or whatever and go play around outside. Yeah. That'd be pretty nice.
Maybe that's, and this is probably why people retire and go move to Arizona, Florida, whatever. It's like when you're retired and you have all sorts of time on your hands. Yeah. I understand it entirely because then like you wake up, you do your morning routine, whatever. And you're like, I could go play 9, like I could go play 9 quick.
Yep.
And like, you can just whenever you want to.
Yep.
Whereas like here, and like the sun still goes down early everywhere. Yep. So when would you, I mean, you're only able to play on the weekends. That's true. Or if you work, if you have like a Friday off or whatever. So it is probably less.
If you work a sales job.
Yeah. Got to close the deal.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I got for today. You good on your front?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Episode 223.
Got it.
Of the DBS. We'll be back again next week. I think Tyler's going to be back. Pretty sure. I think he gets back tomorrow.
We'll be full strength next week.
Yeah, we'll do a little TGL week 2 recap. Just see how things go from week to week, and see what ratings are like. I'm excited for it, to say the least. So appreciate you all listening. See you next week. Love you.
Love you.